I had always believed that the foundation of our marriage was unshakable. Emily and I had been together for almost 10 years, married for 7. Our life was built on mutual respect, love, and the understanding that we were partners in everything. But the day she asked for a divorce, it felt like the ground beneath me had cracked wide open, swallowing all the hopes I had held onto. It started subtly, the changes in her. I'd noticed her distance in the past few months. At first, I chalked it up to the stress of her job, the pressures of balancing her career with our life at home. She'd been working late, canceling plans, growing more withdrawn. But it was all so gradual, so imperceptible at first, that I didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. I should have noticed sooner. I should have been more aware. But I trusted her, I always had. I thought that love, loyalty, and respect would carry us through. And yet, when she finally sat me down one evening, her face pale and lips trembling, it was as if the words were already on the tip of her tongue, waiting to be spoken. "I think we need to talk," she said, her voice tight with emotion. It was a routine phrase, one that we'd exchanged countless times. But this time, there was something different in her tone. It was like she was bracing herself for something that would break both of us. I felt the familiar dread that comes when you know something's wrong but can't quite place what it is. Still, I tried to remain calm, to reassure her that whatever it was, we could work through it. She sat across from me, her eyes avoiding mine, her fingers twisted around the edge of her glass. "I've been thinking a lot about us lately," she continued. "About where we are, about where we're going. And I don't think I can do this anymore." The words hit me like a physical blow. I sat back, stunned, my mind racing, trying to make sense of what she was saying. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaky, though I didn't want her to see how much it was affecting me. I think it's time we go our separate ways," she said, the words coming out in a rush, almost as if she were relieved to finally say them. "I don't want to hurt you, but I can't keep pretending that things are okay when they're not." For a moment, I couldn't speak. The room seemed to close in around me, the walls pressing in as I struggled to understand. My wife, the woman I had built my life with, was telling me that she didn't want me anymore. That we were finished. It felt like an out-of-body experience. I wanted to shout, to beg, to demand an explanation, but the words wouldn't come. She continued, her voice softer now, her hands wringing in her lap. "I've been unhappy for a while, and I don't know how to fix it. I've tried, but it's just not enough. I don't think I love you the way I used to." I felt something crack inside me, a deep ache that I couldn't explain. "You're leaving me?" I asked, the words barely a whisper, as though I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She nodded, her eyes filled with sorrow, but there was no hesitation. No uncertainty. She had already made up her mind, and nothing I could say would change it. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. But I didn't feel any sorrow from her. It was as if this was just something she had to get off her chest, something she had already accepted. I was the one left to bear the weight of her decision. The room felt cold as I processed the words. Divorce. Emily was asking for a divorce. My mind tried to grasp the reality of it, but everything felt blurry, distorted. I couldn't focus on anything except the gaping hole in my chest that was widening by the second. I stood up, pacing the floor, my mind spinning with thoughts. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. My heart raced, and my breaths came in shallow bursts as I tried to make sense of it all. "I don't understand," I said, looking at her, desperate. "What's happened? What changed? I thought we were happy. I thought we were fine." Emily shook her head, her lips quivering. "I don't know when it happened. I didn't mean for it to be this way, but I've changed. I'm not the same person I was when we first got together, and I don't think I can keep living this lie." It was as if a switch had been flipped, and the woman who had been my wife for so long was suddenly someone else. Someone distant, someone cold. The woman I thought I knew was slipping away, leaving me with nothing but confusion and a deep, aching pain I couldn't explain. "I don't want to fight you on this," she said, her voice trembling. "I don't want this to be messy. I think we need to end things. For good." The word "end" echoed in my mind as if it were some kind of death sentence. I couldn't process it, couldn't accept that the life we had built was falling apart. But I also knew that I couldn't stop her. Not if she was already so determined. And so, I signed the papers. I didn't fight it. I didn't scream. I just sat there, numb, as she handed me the legal papers, watching her tears fall, feeling like I was drowning in them. The woman I had loved, the woman I had spent years with, had decided that I wasn't enough. That we weren't enough. I had no fight left. No strength to stand in her way. And so, I signed, and with it, I let go of everything I had thought was true. The days after Emily left were a blur of silence and empty rooms. Our home, once filled with the quiet hum of our life together, felt hollow. I moved through the motions, work, meals, sleep, but none of it mattered. I was a ghost, haunted by the memory of her, by the sight of her empty side of the bed, by the overwhelming realization that the life I had built was shattered beyond repair. The first few days were the hardest. I couldn't understand why it had happened, why she had made the decision without even trying to fix things. I was filled with questions that had no answers. The anger I had suppressed when she told me about the divorce began to bubble up, and I found myself questioning everything: our years together, the intimate moments we had shared, the promises we had made. I couldn't help but wonder what went wrong. Was it something I missed? Did I change somehow? Was I not enough for her anymore? The self-doubt was suffocating, but at the same time, a small part of me kept pushing it aside, telling myself that the truth would eventually come to light. It didn't take long for the weight of those unanswered questions to begin to suffocate me. I couldn't just keep walking around in the dark. I needed closure, something to explain why Emily had left me without a fight. I had to know what had really happened, and why she had made the choice to end things so suddenly, without warning. And that's when I made a decision that I would later regret. I didn't want to involve a private investigator. I didn't want to make her out to be the villain. But I needed to know the truth, and the only way to get it was to look closer. I went through her things. It wasn't something I was proud of, but my need for answers outweighed my guilt. I had to find something, anything, that would explain what had gone wrong. I went into her closet, running my fingers over the fabric of her clothes, her perfume still lingering in the air. I opened drawers and cabinets, each one a reminder of the life we had shared. But it was when I found her phone tucked away in a drawer under a stack of old receipts that everything began to fall apart. I knew I shouldn't look through it. I knew it was wrong, but my hands trembled as I unlocked her phone, my heart pounding in my chest. The first thing I saw was a text message from a man named Chris. It was brief, but it was enough to send a shiver of dread down my spine. "Can't wait to see you tonight, beautiful. I'll be thinking of you all day." The words hit me like a slap to the face. It was everything I needed to know, but it was also everything I feared. Emily hadn't just fallen out of love with me. She had been seeing someone else. She had been unfaithful. I scrolled through the messages, each one more damning than the last. There were late-night texts, messages filled with flirtation, promises, and even plans to meet up in secret. The betrayal wasn't just an emotional one. It was physical. She had been cheating on me for months, and I hadn't known. I felt the ground beneath me shift. My stomach turned in knots as the pieces of the puzzle finally started to fall into place. The late nights, the distance, the sudden changes in her behavior, all of it made sense now. She had already checked out of our marriage long before she asked for a divorce. And the worst part was that she had been hiding it from me the entire time. I threw the phone down on the bed, feeling nauseous. I couldn't breathe. The world around me felt like it was spinning out of control. I had been so blind. How had I not seen this? How had I missed the signs? The pain was suffocating. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but all I could do was sit there in the silence, staring at the screen. The truth had never been so cruel. I thought back to the conversations we had, the moments where she had told me everything was fine, where we had laughed and planned for the future. None of it had been real. She had been living a double life, lying to me every step of the way. The betrayal felt like a sharp knife twisting in my chest, and I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. I had trusted her. I had loved her with everything I had, and she had taken that trust and shattered it into a million pieces. But the anger came next, and it was a fire that burned hot and fast, scorching everything in its path. How dare she? How dare she do this to me, to us? I wasn't some fool to be played with. I wasn't going to sit back and let her walk away from me without facing the consequences of her actions. The man, Chris, whoever he was, didn't matter. He was a part of the story I wasn't interested in. It wasn't about him. It was about Emily. It was about her choosing to betray me, to lie to me, to throw away everything we had for someone else. I couldn't let her get away with it. I had to confront her. I had to make her understand the pain she had caused. But as the adrenaline surged through me, I realized something else. This wasn't just about revenge or anger anymore. This was about reclaiming my dignity. It was about showing Emily that I was not the weak, heartbroken man she had left behind. I was stronger than she realized, and I was ready to fight back. I couldn't wait any longer. The weight of the truth was suffocating me, and I couldn't stand the thought of living in the shadows of this betrayal any longer. I needed to face her. I needed to look her in the eyes and make her understand what she had done. And so, I made up my mind, no more passive acceptance. No more pretending that everything was fine. I drove to her apartment, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles were white. My mind raced with everything I wanted to say, everything I wanted to confront her about. She couldn't just walk away from me, from us, without dealing with the consequences. When I arrived, I stood there for a moment, staring at her front door. The building was quiet, and the world outside felt eerily still, as if waiting for something to happen. I took a deep breath and knocked. The sound of footsteps approaching from inside echoed through the hallway. I could hear her voice as she came closer, a faint trace of hesitation in her steps. The door opened, and there she stood. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Emily looked at me, her expression a mix of surprise and something else. Guilt, maybe? It was hard to tell. But whatever it was, it didn't matter. All I could focus on was the sharp, undeniable sting of betrayal. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice tentative, as if she wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't answer her right away. Instead, I stepped inside, my gaze never leaving her face. I closed the door behind me, my heart pounding, but I wasn't about to back down now. I had come this far, and I wasn't leaving without making her face the truth. "I know," I said, my voice steady, though I could feel the fire burning within me. "I know what you've been doing. I know about Chris." Her face drained of color as she took a step back, her hand instinctively reaching for her throat as if trying to brace herself for the impact of my word. But I wasn't done yet. "I found the messages, Emily," I continued, my voice low but unyielding. "I found your texts, your plans. You've been seeing him behind my back. You've been lying to me this entire time." Her eyes flickered with something, regret? Panic? But then she quickly masked it with a defensive air, folding her arms across her chest, as though trying to guard herself against my accusations. I don't know what you're talking about," she said, though her voice lacked conviction. "Don't lie to me," I spat, my anger rising again, like a wave crashing over me. "You think I don't know what's been going on? You think I'm that blind? I trusted you, Emily. I loved you, and you threw it all away for him. You destroyed everything, and now you're standing here, pretending like nothing happened." Her eyes flickered, and for the first time, I saw something resembling guilt flash across her face. She opened her mouth, as if to say something, but nothing came out. She was cornered, and I could see her struggling to find the words. "Why, Emily?" I asked, my voice quieter now, but the pain in it was raw. "Why did you do this to me? We had everything. We were supposed to be in this together. So why? Why did you choose him over me? I could feel the tears threatening to spill, but I refused to let them fall. I wasn't going to let her see me break. Not after everything she had done. She didn't answer right away, and for a moment, the silence between us was suffocating. I could hear the faint hum of traffic outside, but it felt like we were the only two people in the world. Then, finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It just happened. It was never planned. My heart twisted at the pain in her voice, but it wasn't enough to make me feel sympathy. So, you just woke up one day and decided to cheat on me? To throw away everything we had? You didn't even try to talk to me, Emily. You didn't even try to fix things. She looked away, her eyes clouded with shame. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what was wrong with me. The words cut through me like a knife. Don't act like you're the victim here, I said harshly, stepping forward. You're the one who chose to betray me. You're the one who decided to walk away without a second thought. Don't try to make this about you. This is about what you did to me. She winced at my words, but I didn't care. I needed her to feel this, to understand the gravity of what she had done. I wasn't going to let her off the hook, no matter how much pain it caused me. I want you to leave, she said quietly, her voice trembling. I think you should go. The words felt like a slap in the face. How dare she tell me to leave? She was the one who had destroyed everything, and now she was asking me to walk away without any resolution? I stood there for a moment, my emotions swirling, before I spoke again. I'm not leaving until I get what I deserve. You don't get to just walk away from this, Emily. Not without facing the consequences. But she was already backing away, her expression a mixture of fear and regret. Please, I don't want this to get any worse, she pleaded, her voice cracking. I never wanted to hurt you. You already have, I said coldly, turning toward the door. You've hurt me more than you'll ever understand. And I'm done being the guy who lets you get away with it. With that, I left, the sound of the door closing behind me like the final nail in the coffin. As I walked back to my car, I realized something. This wasn't just about Emily. This was about me. It was about reclaiming my dignity, my self-respect. She had tried to break me, but she had failed. I wasn't going to let her win. The war wasn't over. It had only just begun. The next few days after my confrontation with Emily were an endless haze of anger, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. The sting of betrayal still burned deep within me, but something else had started to form beneath the pain: clarity. I realized that I had been living in a fog, holding on to a version of our marriage that no longer existed. I had been blind to the truth, but now that I had seen it, I could never unsee it. I tried to push the thoughts of Emily out of my mind, but they kept coming back, gnawing at me like an incessant, nagging reminder. Her face, the regret in her eyes, the way she asked me to leave, it all played out in my mind like a broken record. But as much as I hated her actions, I hated how powerless I felt even more. She had taken so much from me without a second thought, and yet I was left to pick up the pieces. I focused on my work to distract myself, throwing myself into the mundane tasks of my daily life. The office became my sanctuary, the place where I could escape the chaos that had taken over my personal life. But even there, I couldn't ignore the gnawing emptiness inside. I wasn't the same person I had been before. Something inside me had shifted, and the comfortable rhythms of my existence now felt foreign. It was during one of those long, grueling days at the office that I got an unexpected call. My heart skipped a beat when I saw the name on the screen. Emily. I hesitated for a moment, the tension in my chest rising. I had no intention of speaking to her again. I had said my piece, and I didn't want to open that door again. But for some reason, I answered. Hello? My voice was tight, laced with the anger I had tried to suppress. I know I've hurt you, her voice came through, soft and almost pleading. But I need to talk to you. I need you to hear me out. I leaned back in my chair, my hand gripping the edge of the desk as I tried to keep my composure. Why? What's left to say, Emily? You've already made your choice. I know. I know I messed up, she said, her voice cracking slightly. But I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just need to explain. Please, just give me a chance to tell you the truth. I swallowed hard, my emotions conflicting. I wanted to hang up, to ignore her and move on with my life, but I couldn't. A part of me, maybe the part that still cared for her, wanted to hear what she had to say. Fine, I said through gritted teeth. Talk. There was a long pause on the other end of the line, and then she began. It wasn't about you. I want you to understand that. I never meant to hurt you. But something inside me, something I didn't even know existed, was missing. When I met Chris, it was like everything I had been yearning for was suddenly right there in front of me. It was wrong. I know it was. But I didn't know how to stop it. I closed my eyes, the anger bubbling back up again. So, you think I'm supposed to feel sorry for you now? You think I should believe that you were just some helpless victim of your own desires? You betrayed me, Emily. You broke everything we had for some quick thrill. How do you expect me to just accept that? Her voice trembled as she responded, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I can forgive myself. But I was lost, and I made terrible decisions. I was trying to fill a void, and I thought I could get away with it. I thought it wouldn't hurt anyone. Except me, I snapped. You hurt me, Emily. You ruined everything. You don't get to play the victim now. I'm not playing the victim, she said softly. I'm just trying to explain why. Not to excuse what I did, but to help you understand. I never stopped loving you, but I was so consumed with my own emptiness that I didn't realize what I was doing until it was too late. I wanted to hang up. I wanted to cut ties with her for good and never speak to her again. But the words I heard next stopped me cold. I never wanted a divorce. I never wanted to lose you. I stood up from my chair, pacing around the small office, my heart thudding in my chest. Then why did you do it? Why didn't you just talk to me? Why didn't you come to me before things got so out of hand? I don't know, she said, her voice distant now. I was scared. Scared of facing you, scared of facing myself. I thought I could fix it all on my own. I thought I could be the perfect wife for you and still have what I wanted, but I was wrong. The silence hung between us for a moment. Her words resonated in my mind, and for the briefest of moments, I felt the familiar pang of sympathy for her. But I quickly pushed it aside. I couldn't keep feeling sorry for her. Not after everything she had done. I took a deep breath and exhaled slowly, trying to steady myself. This conversation is over, Emily. I've heard everything I need to hear. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine. You're going to be okay, she whispered. I know you will. I just hope, one day, you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I ended the call without saying another word, the weight of the conversation pressing down on me like a 1,000-pound burden. But I knew it was time to let go. I couldn't keep holding on to the past. I couldn't keep trying to fix something that was beyond repair. Emily had made her choice, and now I had to make mine. I walked out of my office, the city skyline stretching out before me, a stark reminder of how far I had come from where I had once been. I was no longer the man I had been a few months ago. I had been broken, yes, but I had also learned something valuable. I was stronger than I thought. I was more than just the man Emily had left behind. And it was time for me to start living again. I didn't know what the future held. But for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. The pain would fade with time, and though it might leave scars, those scars would remind me that I had survived. And that, in itself, was a victory. As I walked away from the remnants of my past, I knew one thing for sure. I was ready for whatever came next.